Well, we're well and truly into the third week, start of the fourth week of November, and I'm sure plenty of you thought I'd completely forgotten to do a video for October. But that's not the case. I've just been really busy trying to get on top of some other videos in my downtime and catching up on working on this one. And it kinda didn't help that I was off traipsing across Japan, holidaying and retro game hunting, as well as attending a few business and finance seminars while I was over there for the first half of October. But it was worth it because I did manage to bump into a couple of big name YouTubers who were also in attendance at that seminar, which is pretty wild considering there was only about 50 people in attendance. But anyway, then of course I got home to a mountain of work, both personal and professional, which whilst it didn't fully impact my ability to do things, it didn't give me a lot of time to do stuff, which is why I smashed out a lot of the Arc Ascended console command guides at the moment because they're one and done really quick to do and I can do them in my downtime. And then I've been doing this script we're working on now very slowly, but I've got it. And despite there being a plethora of games that came out last month, thankfully only five really caught my attention, otherwise, this would have taken even longer. And if you want to cut me some slack, most of them only released at the end of the month, so can we consider them honorable mentions for November? Because most of them aren't even a month old yet. But anyway, without further ado, here are five games from October that I'm either currently playing, have already picked up, have a demo for, and am keen to play. And maybe after watching this, you'll want to do the same for some of them. Starting off the list at number one, we've got a sequel to an ever popular title, one that admittedly I've watched more VODs for than actually played myself, and that sequel is The Ghost of Yotei. Set around 300 years after Ghost of Tsushima, this one takes us north to the snowy region of Ezo, modern day Hokkaido, and you'll play as Atsu, a female warrior who's forced to take up the mantle of the ghost after her family is wiped out by the Yotei Six. From there, the story takes you through a beautifully bleak landscape full of vengeance, tradition, and moral choices that aren't always as clear cut as you'd hope. Combat once again focuses on precision swordplay, stance-based duels, but it has been expanded with new tools like spears, chain sickles, and even a grappling hook for traversal and surprise attacks. It's everything you'd expect from a follow-up to Tsushima. It's cinematic, emotional, and deeply atmospheric. And honestly, it feels like a worthy successor that builds on what made the first game special without leaning on it too heavily. So, if this one's not already on your radar, it really should be, and since it's out now, there's no excuse not to check it out. In at number 2 is the latest entry in a franchise that basically started my gaming journey back on the PS1, and that's Digimon Story, Time Stranger. And look, I'll be honest, even though I've been a fan since the very first Digimon World, I haven't exactly kept up with every modern entry. Hell, I own them all, they're all sitting proudly on a shelf, but actually playing them, yeah, that's a different story. Anyone who's tried mastering Digimon World on PS1 knows the trauma. That game tossed you into the deep end and told you to swim. And one of the more recent titles gave me a similar level of what the hell do all these systems mean? So I promptly put it back down to play something else, promising to get back to it, and I kinda never did. But hopefully that's about to change, because the story games are known for being a lot more user friendly and way easier to get back into the franchise. That doesn't mean to say they are easier, far from it. You can still expect to deal with team building, it involves dozens of Digimon, turn-based combat with combo skills, stat management, evolution branching, and a whole lot of dungeon crawling that actually requires you to think. And they've managed to wrap all that up in a neat little bow contained within a time-bending story where you're pulled into anomalies affecting both the digital world and the human world. But don't worry, you won't be alone. You'll have some human partners, but you'll mainly be relying on your partner Digimon to investigate distortions and uncover why history itself is unraveling, and of course, save both worlds before everything collapses in on itself. So whether you're a die-hard Digimon fan, a newcomer, or someone who's returning after years away, consider grabbing a copy. It's available now on PC, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series X and S. Next on our list is the latest installment in a franchise that I thought was dead and gone, and thankfully I've never been happier to be wrong. Now, I don't have many vivid memories of the later entries. I only really have memories of that one version that was released on the original Xbox, so this new chapter gives me the perfect excuse to go back and play all of them. And this one is of course Ninja Gaiden 4, which is set in a near future Tokyo, drenched in a dark, raining curse, following the defeat of the Dark Dragon. In this one, you'll play as a newcomer, Yakumo, a young ninja of the Raven clan, tasked with stepping into the legendary role of the Ghost Ninja. But don't worry, the ever iconic Ryo Hayabusa is still playable in select missions and even becomes playable for the full game if you prefer to go that route. Now, combat wise, it's still full on old school Ninja Gaiden style, razor sharp reflexes, multi enemy melees, slick dead on precision moves like the Izuna drop and flying swallow. But they've mixed it up now with some new systems like the Bloodbind ninjutsu, which lets you manipulate your weapons with enemy blood for devastating effects. However, that's not the real standout. The real standout is how they've mastered the enemy AI. It makes them feel less like cannon fodder and more like mini bosses. Fast, calculated, and brutal, especially on higher difficulty. So you're not just smashing your way through an obstacle course, which is quite cool. So, if you are returning to this long running franchise or are keen to experience it for the first time, consider grabbing a copy of Ninja Gaiden 4. It's available now on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Coming in at number 4 on the list for October's hits is a title I feel like we've all been waiting for forever to get. In fact, on release day, I went to my local game store to buy it, only to find out when I got home that she'd accidentally given me number 3 instead of 1 and 2. Yes, the Roman numerals threw off a bit. And of course, the game I'm talking about is Dragon Quest 1 and 2, the HD 2D remake. Now, while I did get a refund for this mix-up, I unfortunately missed out on getting the last physical copy in store, but thankfully Steam exists, so digital it is. Anyway, enough woe is me, here's what you can expect. Both games have been rebuilt using that beautiful HD 2D style, think Octopath Traveler, but with Dragon Quest classic charm. And if you've played number 3, just think of that. Now, story-wise, Dragon Quest 1 puts you in the boots of the descendant of Erdrick as you set out to save Aethelgard from the Dragon Lord, while Dragon Quest 2 jumps ahead a generation and follows 3 royal heirs on a journey to stop Hagen, a new looming evil. The remake also adds some new touches, including expanded scenes and small additional story beats that flesh out key characters and locations without changing the core plot. Combat wise, it's still that familiar tried and true classic turn based style that the series is known for, just smoothed out with some modern quality of life improvements. Faster battles, cleaner menus, quick saving, improved party management, all that good stuff. And visually, the lighting, depth, and animations make the world feel more alive than ever, while still keeping the nostalgic pixel vibe well and truly intact. And if this isn't enough, all the towns you used to walk to in the older games that felt empty and bleak have been fleshed out with a lot more NPCs and other things, so there's that going for it. So, if you've never played the franchise and this has piqued your interest, definitely consider grabbing a copy. But do remember, whilst you can start with 1 and 2, Dragon Quest 3 is actually the prequel, so you might want to play that first for the full chronological experience. Either way, you'll love it no matter which order you choose, and it's available now on PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox X and S, Switch. And coming in last on the list at number 5 is a title that I haven't played in its original form, but honestly I already know it's going to be good because let's be real, every Tales of game hits a certain level of quality you can bank on, and Tales of Xillia is one of those entries fans can constantly hype up as the classic. So now that it's been remastered for modern platforms, this feels like the perfect time for me to finally jump in. Now, for anyone who hasn't played the Tales series, I'm going to be honest here and try my best to explain it, but I can't articulate why it's so great. Unless you've played it, you understand what I mean, because all the stories in each game are different. But I'll do my best. I could say it's a mix of character banter, emotional moments, the warm JRPG energy it gives off, the sense of adventure that hooks you in, or it's a combination of all of them. It's just those things and a lot of other things in the Tales of series resonate with your soul. And like I said, if you've played them, you know what I mean. And Xillia is no exception to that. It brings all that back and more in all these remastered glory. In it, you'll have a dual protagonist story, a cast that fans will genuinely love, and a familiar tone that balances serious storytelling with lighter moments. Now, gameplays wise, you're going to get that classic Tales combat, as in fast, heavy combos, lots of arts chaining, dodging and linking up with party members for big flashy finishes. And whilst the remaster doesn't change this too much, it does tighten up the animations and smooth out the battles so everything feels way more modern while still keeping the original vibe intact. So old school game purists just shouldn't be too upset by it. So even though this will be my first time actually playing this one, I've got no doubt it will deliver. And if you want a JRPG with heart and style, and that unmistakable Tales feel, Tales of Xillia Remastered is absolutely worth grabbing. Hell, any Tales of game is, but why not get this one? And it's available now on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. And with that, guys, that wraps up the list of 5 games that came out in October that I reckon are worth playing. Sorry it took so long to get this out. If you're still here, thank you so much. And if you'd be so kind, consider giving us a thumbs up. And if you aren't already, consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.